Good day, everybody. It's Mark Arnstein, Remax Homework, and of course, livingnorthtoronto.com. Welcome to the Mark Arnstein Show. My guest today is an on-air fitness expert for CBC Television, Stephen and Chris, also at CBS Early Morning Saturday in NYC or New York. Her mission is to help people in areas become fit by providing fun, simple workout programs that can be implemented seamlessly in any busy day, on the job, on the road, or at home. She's the author of Getting Fit Without Hitting the Gym and Working on the Ball tied to office fitness. In addition, she's a motivational keynote speaker for corporate events and workshops. In 2007, she founded Dance with Parkinson's, DWP, and is a nonprofit registered Canadian charity with a mission to enhance the mental health, physical health, and social well-being of adults affected by Parkinson's disease. My pleasure to welcome to the show, Miss Sara Robichaud. Welcome.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Now, just so everyone knows, this is really cool because sometimes things happen out of spontaneity, and this is basically how today. By fluke, we were together a couple weekends ago at my sister-in-law's place up in Canada. We started talking. Sara started talking about her story. I was absolutely just blown away, and I was like, "Oh my God, we have to do a podcast."
And I was like, "Yay! Sign me up!" We pulled out our phones, booked the day, and here we are.
Exactly. Now, okay, so let's get back to the beginning for all the quick intro stuff that I just did, because I think the background to all this is what really blew me out of the water, because now you left home at the age of 16 and went to Russia to join.
So when I was 16, I moved to Russia, to Moscow for just over a year to study at the Bolshoi Ballet School. Prior to that, I was studying ballet in Toronto, and I had this opportunity to go with a friend of mine and literally live as a Russian. It was in 1991. And nobody really spoke English at that time.
Right.
And at the Bolshoi Ballet School, where you eat, sleep, dance is in the same building. Right. And I even saw Gorbachev's daughter walking down the hallways with KGB around her all the time. It was quite something.
Wow. And then, okay, so now you did that for a year and a half?
Yeah, just over a year. And then when I came back to Canada, I was ready to start dancing professionally, because after you go and train in Russia, you're like, I have to use what I just learned. And so I ended up moving to England and working as a dancer there with an opera company and a ballet company, and then came to the city, to Toronto, and started working in musical theater and choreographing and co-choreographing, like in Stratford, and some things for the Mirvishes, and so that's sort of where my dance career was going. And then I had my first child, and I also decided to become a personal trainer, because that was something I could plant my feet on the ground and work around my son's schedule, essentially.
Right. Now, are you actually a personal trainer? You went through all the training?
Okay. I did all the things.
You and my sister-in-law Michelle battle it out.
That's right. Yeah. No, she is the mecca of personal training. Yes, I bow down to her.
Okay, so now you become a personal trainer. You're in Toronto, back home. You got your first son, and going along. And so what started to get going with you started writing a book about getting fit without hitting the gym and working on the ball. At what point did all that come into play?
So basically, as soon as I got certified as a personal trainer, I started working through a gym downtown, and I realized that there was sort of this feeling that people had is, I have to work out for an hour a day and I need to go to the gym to stay fit. And I knew for myself, because I was trying to stay fit in between raising a toddler, that wasn't true. So I was that person. I was that annoying mom at the park doing squats, and if I'm in the kitchen, I'm washing my floor, but doing a big circle so my abs are engaged. And I was, when you bounce your kid on that stability ball, I was like, oh my gosh, this could be a workout. And so I started coming up with ideas of how to get fit in the places where you spend the most time. And so that my friend and I co-wrote the Working on the Ball book. So it was, basically a book of exercises you could do while sitting at your desk, but on a ball. And it was very tongue-in-cheek, really fun, but, functional stuff. And then I started exploring more ways to get fit in all the places that you were. So how do you get fit in a cumulative way? 10 minutes here, 5 minutes here, and sort of break down those barriers to actually feeling good and vibrant and strong.
Right. Okay. And then now you got into doing motivational talks, appearing on TV.
Yeah, that all what we wrote this book together, and we did a bit of a press junket, and I was lucky enough to be asked by CBS Early Morning in New York City to become a regular fitness expert and come down and do short, quick workout ideas. But again, it was the kind of thing of using the laundry tubs to do your rows and that. And so that sort of parlayed into having the honor to work with Stephen and Chris. Again, fitting in the workouts in the place that you spend the most of your time. And eventually I got hired as a personal trainer by a man named Andy Berry, who used to be a radio host on CBC Metro Morning.
Right.
And I got hired by him because his doctor, his neurologist, recommended, as he had just been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, to start getting fit, because exercise is the number one way to slow the progression of that neurodegenerative disease. And thus began the complete trajectory change of my entire life, where I found my calling, my life's passion, dancing with Parkinson's.
Wow. Okay. That is awesome.
That's absolutely right. So when I met Andy Berry and I was working with him, he actually said to me on the first day he met me, he was like, "What do you know about Parkinson's?" And I was like, "Absolutely nothing, but I'm going to do as much research as I can to ensure that I'm helping you in the best way possible." And so in just talking to everybody and trying to learn about the disease itself, I learned about the Mark Morris Dance Group, which was one of my favorite dance companies based out of Brooklyn, that they were offering a dance class for people with Parkinson's. And Mark, when I heard the word dance and Parkinson's together in the same sentence, it was one of those Oprah aha moments, or the skies open up.
Yeah.
And it was of course, because Parkinson's disease literally, robs the person of the ability to express, to be fluid, the balance, the flexibility. Oh, here's my son. Yes, hi, sweetie. Thank you. That's just my 6-year-old checking in.
So
coordination, coordination, balance, expression. All of these things are severely affected when someone has Parkinson's disease. And dance naturally helps all of those things through imagery and visualization. So it's often thought that people with Parkinson's lose the ability to initiate controlled movement, and dance gives them the ability to, perhaps through visualization, choreography, to access maybe a different neuropathway to movement.
Right.
So it can help them actually start being able to initiate and control movement a little bit more free.
You got this idea. You started DPW. DW. I got it wrong. WDWP. It's been a long day.
Okay.
So now you were telling me, we spoke before, you started, and then it was supposed to be a non-for-profit charity, but it was actually now starting to cost you money.
Well, so basically, as soon as I heard about the program in New York City, I took their first training session right away and learned the method. And I'm telling you, when I saw people with Parkinson's come into that studio, hunched over, shuffling gait, no expression, and the minute they got into that dance studio, they lifted, the music played, and all of a sudden there was fluidity and there was connection and there were smiles. And that was enough for me. I was sold. I was like, I am going back to Toronto, and I'm going to offer one free class a week as sort of like just a community give back, just something
Right.
that I would volunteer my time doing.
Right.
But what actually happened, Mark, was on day one, which was like the middle of one of those crazy snow day blizzards. Like, those days where they're like, don't leave your house unless you have to. We had our first class
Right.
at this very like weird location that TTC was not accessible. And over 15 people with Parkinson's came on that very first day. And then, which was crazy. And then they kept coming.
Right.
And so immediately I had to add a second class and a third class and a wait list. And I guess at the time, so this is almost 15 years ago now, there wasn't a lot of resources for people with PD. So it was like definitely sort of filling this need for exercise, community, connection, basically bringing people with Parkinson's disease out of isolation, right? Out of isolation to be with other people and to be active and to be engaged. So I started adding more and more classes, and then, training other teachers to help me teach. And I mean, before I knew it, we had 15 locations running throughout the Greater Toronto area a week. And there was a point where, I was sort of paying pianists and studios and teachers out of my pocket.
Right.
And I'm like, this has no longer become a volunteer thing.
this is business.
And so, I was very, very new to the not-for-profit world. And I will say this, that I was absolutely blessed to continuously come in contact with incredible people who helped me develop Dancing with Parkinson's and register it as a charity. And then, people who wanted to join the board, who had board experience, who helped sort of lead the way. And so it was never intended that it would become sort of, my life's work and this, national organization. But the demand of the program and the feeling that I have when I am with the dancers, it became a no-brainer. Like, this is what we need to do, and we need to keep making this better, and we need to keep making this more accessible. And it's really a wonderful, joyful place to be.
Oh, that is absolutely fantastic. Now, also, we were talking, COVID had a massive, and obviously these sessions are all done live, right? Like
yes.
Now you're saying, so there's a live piano player, there's a teacher. So COVID's now happening. All these places are getting shut down left, right, and center, but you want to keep the program going. So now you had to pivot. And so Zoom came into play, right?
Yeah. So I remember it was like, we had our last class on a Wednesday, and on the Friday, it was very gloomy in the world. And I think everybody was starting to go, oh my gosh, what's going to go on? And so we made the call, we're going to shut down classes on the Friday. And I honestly, I had about a moment, I had a night where I was like, I guess that's the end of us, because our mission is to bring people with Parkinson's disease out of isolation. Now I'm in isolation.
Right.
How are we going to connect on our mission? And so I thought, this is it. We're an in-person service. Now I can't leave my home, and our teachers can't, it's not going to work. And I woke up and I was like, no. We're not going to let a mere pandemic slow.
Pandemic, we'll figure it out, right? It's all good. Yeah. Well, listen, so, with that ball of energy, how could you not figure it out?
Yeah, no big deal. Yeah. So sent an email to all of our dancers and said, I'm going to go on Zoom on Monday morning at 11. Does anybody want to join me? And if so, here's the link. I don't think I'd ever used Zoom before, Mark. I don't know what I was doing. And so on that Monday morning, I think we had about 15 people show up to Zoom, and we chatted. We were all like, what is going on in the world? And then we danced seated. And then when we finished dancing, we chatted again. I said, does anybody want to come back tomorrow? And they're like, yes, please. Right. So since that first day, that Monday, we literally have not taken even one day off since. So
Wow.
we have been offering free dance classes since March. I think it was the 17th or something. I don't know what the Monday was of that week.
Right.
2020. So well over 700 free classes at this point, and there's absolutely no end in sight.
Right.
For us, the pandemic, I know this sounds bizarre, but it was something that enabled us to increase our reach so much more and actually have even more of an impact. So dancers who formerly would be like, I can't make it to one of your 15 locations, or I don't feel well today, I'm not going to take 2 hours of wheel trans. Now, every single day at 11 a.m., whether they're in their bed or in a wheelchair or a walker, or they're standing, however they are, in their pajamas, in their bedroom, in their living room, in their kitchen, are coming and getting connection and laughter and movement and safe exercise. And a lot of them are saying they feel better now after 2 years of isolation in a pandemic than they did prior, which is amazing. And there's 100 people who come and dance every single day. On Zoom. Every single morning at 11 a.m., there's about 100 seniors. And what we ended up doing is because, as we all know, seniors have been the most sort of affected population, vulnerable population by COVID-19, especially those in long-term care homes and in rural areas. And so we opened the 11 a.m. dance class to all seniors. So it's seniors dancing with people with Parkinson's, but it's just a completely inclusive, meshing, a beautiful family of humans from across the country, zooming in every single morning.
Okay, that is incredible. I as a really, like you hear different stories and how things either went completely sideways and off the rails, or they were able to pivot, do absolutely something incredible. But so now we still do classes live. There's right at the 15 locations.
Yes. So we are now reopening classes. We couldn't reopen last year because, again, I think there was a 14th wave of COVID that we had to do.
14, 21, 30. Who's counting still, right?
I have lost count. Yeah. I have lost count of the number of boosters in my arm. I mean, all of this. So we waited until this September. So we are now opening in person. We'll have, I think, 3 locations opening right away in person, sort of September, October. And then we are going to roll out sort of a needs basis in different areas. We're really, really working to increase the participation from marginalized, racialized communities and lower income communities. So we're working pretty hard on our outreach there right now to make sure that the people who need this class the most have access to it.
Right. And then, then during this whole time during the pandemic, were you guys charging for people to get online or no?
Oh, free, 100% free.
Free. Wow.
Yeah, for thousands of seniors across our country. Yeah. So we fundraise, like we're a registered charity. So we're always asking people for money. I mean, because we are, providing a service that keeps seniors healthy, active, mentally, physically, engaged. Every single day.
And the impact that it has on Zoom is really not than it has when they're live in the studio doing it. Like it's the same thing.
Isn't it? So the bizarre thing to me, and if someone had said to me, Mark, honestly, before the pandemic, so we're going to take your classes and we're going to put them on a laptop, I would have been like, no way, no how. We need to hug, we need to kiss, we need to hold hands, all of these things, right? There's no way that we can get that sort of connection that we're going for in these classes on a laptop. And I have been proven so wrong. And I love when I get proven wrong and something so beautiful and wonderful happens. The connection that's happening every day, because just dancing, we're actually communicating before and after class. We've increased chat times where seniors are now leading lectures and workshops and sharing stories and talking about their trips and sharing pictures. So people are developing these incredible connections from across the country and now making new friends and actually talking outside of the classes, which is just like, it is really actually super magical to be part of, to see this happen. This salon series that we have, which is every 2 weeks, our different seniors volunteer to share a story, to share an experience. And just yesterday, we had one of our dancers, Catherine Wakely-Clare, talk about mobile schoolhouses. I guess back in the 70s, like trains that were schoolhouses up in the north. And honestly, we had 70 seniors listening in to her lecture, and then a half an hour of Q&A. Like, everybody is just so engaged, and curious about one another.
Right.
And it gives people a chance to sort of really share their story in a way that coming to a dance class and catching your ride back home doesn't allow for. We can stay online for as long as we like.
Right. And do you run all day, like at 11 a.m.? Like, are you the one actually teaching it, or is it you just have different?
So, I have 7 teachers who are specifically trained in the method that I work with. Throughout the week. We actually teach more than the 11 a.m. class. We have about 15 classes running every single week. We have a Broadway class, a standing class, a this class, a that class. And we also teach classes in person at some long-term care homes and online for some other organizations. So we have these incredibly talented, wonderful, warm instructors who are all specifically trained in the method who work with me.
That is, and then it's just an incredible story. I love hearing stuff like this. I find intriguing and so interesting that, here, just backing up for 1 second, like, first of all, you left home at 16, went to friggin' Russia, which is insane in itself. Then you go for the highest elite level dance organization in the world, as a 16-year-old kid, which, I mean, half as women let our 16-year-old kids walk 20 feet alone, let alone go all the way over to Russia and live on their own. Then you go.
What does that say about my mom?
She was ahead of the time. She was advanced for her age. She was amazing. And then, to do something and come back and you start your physical fitness journey and teaching and writing and speaking, and then this comes from the goodness of your heart. This is not something that it's like a business idea. This is I want to help people. I want to make a difference. I want to do something that's going to have massive impact. And I think that is just so cool and so special that you do that. And you've kept it going and you kept it alive. Tell me about the fundraising part of it. How does that work?
That's the thing. I literally love it so much. And anyone who sees me, as soon as I start teaching in these classes, I cannot get the smile off my face. I am transformed. I get as much out of it.
I've only known you for a short period of time, and I thought I smile a lot. You put me to shame. Can you go on?
I should start whitening my teeth if I'm smiling so much. But I literally love it. So it's in my bones. It's in my body. It's in every cell. And there is nothing like watching other people smile for me. Right. And if doing some dance or introducing some people makes them smile and they their day was brightened for literally 1 second, I'm happy. And I get to see this every single day. I get to experience it every single day. And so now is doing all the back end work, all the business side of it, the funnest part. That's not the funnest part for me. I find it really interesting, but I have a lot to learn. I'm constantly learning because that's, I didn't go to school for this. But being with the dancers, talking to the seniors, seeing the impact that it has on them, and seeing what it means to their families. There's literally nothing like it. I am like literally one of the luckiest people I know, that every single day I get to experience pure joy at work, pure joy, and pure this like incredible form of like open humanism. It's there's nothing like it.
So how does the fundraising work for you guys and get you up and running, you operating so you can do all this? Because I think that's important for everyone to hear this. So if people do want to get involved, I mean, there might be an opportunity for someone who's watching and listening and go, who has a family member who has Parkinson's, that might want to go, oh my God, I didn't know about this. I want to get involved with it. Because like, obviously, we have social media, we have all these different avenues that like things out there into the world, but I'm sure there's people out there that are probably missing out on those opportunities. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for highlighting that. Yeah. So we are a registered charity, and we are constantly, applying to family foundations and to government organizations, writing lots of grants. And then once a year, we also have like a disco party where it's our annual fundraiser. And we are always open to receiving donations at any point, and you can go to our website and press donate, and it takes you to Canada Helps, and you get an immediate tax receipt to use when tax season comes around. But yeah, I mean that's really how we do it. We hope to be able to show the impact that this is making on seniors' lives and people with Parkinson's and their families and their caregivers and their care partners. But also there's science behind this too. Like, we are constantly doing research to show that this is an evidence-based program, know? And luckily, all of this evidence showing that dancing does help people with Parkinson's disease in many, many different ways. It's actually helping sort of all seniors, physically, mentally, and all of that. So it's just like, I don't know, it's win, 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 all of those things. But yes, we accept all donations in all kinds.
And is it still like, if somebody want to get involved with helping out, is that still like, on the board or in the fundraising?
100%. Yeah. 100%. Always looking to hear from new people who want to help out in any way. If you have a skill or you have a passion or you have a family member who has Parkinson's and you either want to advocate, spread the word, tell your neighbor, or board positions do come up, like all of those things. We totally want to hear from any of your listeners. Do any of your listeners have a neighbor who like maybe can't get out as much and would like benefit from zooming in? Let them know. Yeah. dancingwithparkinsons.com. It tells you everything you need to know.
Have you guys done any like with like dementia or like any of that kind of stuff? Like any work with Crest or?
Yeah. So we've worked quite a bit with dementia and Alzheimer's. There are similarities and differences to our approach. But the 11 a.m. class is really honestly like, it's a great place for people to start, no matter where they're coming from, no matter what their ability is, to just even get a taste of the community. And then we have customized classes for sort of various groups and very Parkinson specific groups and all of that. The 11 a.m. free one is for everybody at any time, any senior.
Right. Now, I want to get back to your dance career for one. My wife's going to make me want to ask these questions because I know it's like, it's ridiculous that you never got to do more dancing and ballerina stuff. So, because I see the smile on your face when I bring this back up. So, tell me any regrets where like you didn't go further with it, or was it just that family life kind of called to a stop kind of thing? Is that more what happened there, or?
All right, so you're sick of seeing me smile. You want me to cry now, don't you?
No. Like, no. Wow. Okay, I didn't know that was a loaded question.
No. I'm kidding. So the truth is when I became pregnant with my first son, who is now 20, I actually was at a place in my career. I was doing a lot of choreography and working with one of the best choreographers, I think, in the world. He's a multi-Tony Award winning choreographer. And And really at that time, I wasn't ready to finish my dance career, but I also was ready to become a mom. And so the transition into personal training was sort of like this marriage of I can still be physical, but my feet can stay in Toronto. When I was dancing professionally, I mean, I was just going all over the place at any time, you know, and so the personal training sort of provided that stability. I did a couple of shows a couple of years later. Dancing with Parkinson's, believe it or not, gives me more pleasure than I had when I was performing on stage.
In a way, it was a bit of like a blessing in disguise, because I don't think you would be where you are today, how things are kind of serendipitous, where like, you know, it all kind of happens for a reason, where your pivot in life was to be able to create this program to offer and enlighten these people that are suffering in a whole new level they never would have had opportunities to do from before.
That's exactly it. And I like, long before Dancing with Parkinson's, I was always looking for like, what is my give back? Where am I going to volunteer my time? Because that was just always really important to me. I have always felt just so extremely fortunate in my life. And so when Dancing with Parkinson's came to me, I was like, this is it. Like, this gets me on every level, right? And it was the personal training that brought me to this. Like, it was the meeting Andy Barry that really was the whole super change of all of the goodness that I get to experience, you know? And I'll tell you a little story just about the impact of this program. So there was a woman named Joy who has been taking our classes online, never came in person. For the duration of the pandemic. And she was always the first one to like say good morning to everybody, like on the Zoom. Good morning, how are you? And they all say, hi, how's it going? Blah, 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 blah. So lovely, like very, very joyful was Joy. And unfortunately, she had a fall, which landed her in the hospital. And her husband still brought her iPad and her laptop to the hospital. And honestly, for as long as she was away from the classes and not being sort of shown on the screen, everybody's asking about her. That's what happens. As soon as somebody's like not there, even when there's 100 people, I'm getting emails from Sharon saying, can you please check on Bill? Haven't seen him. They care so deeply about one another. And her husband emailed me and he said, I just want to let you know, this is most likely Joy's last day with us. Right. And she is doing the class. This is what she wants to do. And he sent a picture to me of her doing our Dancing with Parkinson's class with the laptop in front of her on her last day on earth, because that is where she wanted to be, with her Dancing with Parkinson's family, people she had met online 2 years prior. That's how much it meant to her. And like, honestly, if that's how much this program means to one person, this is what I do for the rest of my life. Do you know, like there's just no question.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
unbelievable. I mean, I can see how you got emotionally worked up about that too. And like, I was getting worked just listening to the story. So, I mean, I think this is just such a wonderful program and a wonderful thing that you're doing. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on today. It's been a phenomenal time to get to chat with you again. More, you are absolutely a ball of energy. The life that you bring to the party is fantastic. And I can only imagine that impact transfers that much more to all like the seniors are coming and doing the program, or people with Parkinson's as well. So, Sarah, people want to reach out to you. They want to connect with you. Again, we said it's danceparkinsons.net. No. dancingwithparkinsons.com. My apologies. Sorry. Check out the website, dancingparkinsons.com. I've had a look at it. It's phenomenal. There's all kinds of really great things on there. Get involved. And Sarah, again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for coming on today. I really, truly appreciate it. And all the best for everything going forward. And I can't wait to see you again soon.
Yeah, totally. I am so grateful that you asked me to come on. It's such a pleasure to speak with you. We're going to have a smile challenge now.
challenge. Bring it. Let's go.
Okay.
Perfect. Thanks, Sarah. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye, Mark.
Bye.